Good morning, guys. Welcome in. How are you all doing? Welcome in, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It is a beautiful Thursday morning. I hope you guys had a nice day yesterday, but it's a new day today. Welcome in, guys. A lot of things to go over this morning. Really, actually, not much of an update, but we'll go over what I'm seeing this morning, and we'll talk about what to expect here. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome. Not a great day for me yesterday, to be honest. I mean, I was barely green yesterday. It was I've had a lot of days in a row where I've done really well, and then yesterday it was couldn't really get much going, couldn't get much free flowing, and yeah, I mean, obviously I mean, for me, not an amazing session. So hoping today is a bit better, but that's how it is sometimes, right? You're not always gonna get the continuation. Not always gonna get the continuation. Welcome in. I hope you guys all had a nice Wednesday. It is Thursday, December 4th today, and we are locked in. Let's dive into today's session. A lot to go over this morning. Obviously, some things happening today in the really yesterday in the after hour session. SNOW was a big one. Yep, snow was the big one yesterday, and some big movements. Some big movements. All right. So, yep, we'll talk about our earnings reports, econ data. We'll dive into our charts in a little bit as well. We have a lot to go over here in the charts aside. Obviously, right, the names to watch today on the SPY chart. SPY is technically above the range here this morning. The question is it a day where the market actually continues above the range? Because we technically got a range break into our Wednesday afternoon, and we are holding above that range break here this morning in the pre-market session. So 684, very, very important level. And we are above this level here this morning. So we'll talk about 684 as your big hold spot. Do we hold it or do we see downside today? So 684, very, very big, important level. Okay. So where did you guys get smoked on yesterday? I actually noticed that a lot yesterday in the chat too. You guys are, what did you guys trade? That was were you guys trading SPY? We'll go over Qs as well. QQQ, we'll talk about here the levels on Qs. 624, it's PLTR puts. I wonder PLTR puts. QQQ puts. SPY. Well, I mean, here's the thing, guys. Yesterday's session, it was a range day. I mean, it was just yet another range day. If you are having sessions where you are losing an uncomfortable amount of money in a range day like yesterday, it should not be a day where you are losing a lot of money, right? This should be a day where you probably are not getting much continuation, right? So instead, the Apple 685 bound SPY puts, Nvidia and SPY. I see. Yeah, M Cruise. Make sure you're using that like Thinkorswim or something with an active trader, because the first Nvidia trade actually was quite nice. So I'll show you that trade, which was yesterday, right? Nvidia's first trade was actually a green trade, and yesterday's chart. Like, look, if you're losing money trading puts on Nvidia yesterday, look at the chart, right? Look at the chart. Nvidia was a short side chart yesterday. It's just, I mean, I'll just say this, right? It just didn't really continue much. You shouldn't really be losing big on Nvidia. Look at the chart. This is a weak chart. This is a downside chart. If you traded puts yesterday, you were not wrong. You just were not very right either, right? That's the idea. When you look back at these charts, you have to see, like, what did you do wrong on the execution side? Were you just wrong about the chart, right? Or was it something that you could have done better on your side? And for me, I'll tell you what I could have done better was probably just take the first trade, walk away, right? After it started holding 180, just probably walk away. 180 break is a nice chart here, but there's not much to do here now going into our Thursday session until it breaks 180. That's a very important pivot to watch out for today's session. But again, Nvidia is still a bearish side chart, right? It still is bearish. Even while the market is pushing highs here in the pre-market session, Nvidia is down over here in the gutter. So you were not wrong yesterday if you traded Nvidia puts. But again, you shouldn't be walking away very red on a chart like this. Now, probably SPY, I assume you guys probably were just trading a lot of like 0D and SPY and PLTR and stuff like that, right? So we'll talk about today what we can do, right? The big thing today's session, I think, is to watch what the betas are doing, because even though the market is breaking the highs this morning in the pre-market session, well, what's not breaking the highs? Well, Nvidia, right? Back to Nvidia. Nvidia's not breaking highs here. Apple, well, look at Apple. Apple's actually selling off here. So I want to look at the clues today, and we're going to create a thesis based on the clues that we have in front of us. Yesterday's session does not matter, right? We are moving on to a new session. You guys have to quickly move on to the next session, right? And today's session is a completely new slate, right? So let's look at what's in front of us and let's see what we can get from today's session. But right now, while the SPY is breaking out above our all-time, above our key range break level, QQQ is not breaking. Okay, so we're going to talk about this in a second. I'm just kind of foreshadowing a little bit here, but what I'm watching here in this pre-market session. But the big watch today is going to be 624 on the QQQ. Does it result in a supply rejection? Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's go into our charts. But before we do any of this, let's go into our earnings reports, econ data, and we'll go right back into our charts. Bear with me, guys, too. My voice is really bad. I don't know why. I'm not sure why at all. But I sound much worse than I actually am. I know you guys know what I mean by that, right? You know when you sound really sick, but you're not that sick. That's how I am. It's just my voice. It's just the winter. So don't think like I'm actually that sick. Just bear with it. Hopefully the acoustics get better in a few days. Okay. So on the earnings docket for today's session, right? It was all about yesterday. Yesterday was the big stuff. We had CRM, Salesforce, we had Snowflake, SNOW, we had C3AI yesterday in the after hour session. Okay, those are the big three, and they all reported yesterday in the after hours. Okay, the pre-market this morning we have a Kroger, KR, Dollar General, DG, and that's pretty much it. TD Bank, right? TD Bank for your bank names. But nothing crazy today's session. In the after hours, we have Rubrik, DocuSign, S. S has been a big one recently. People have been watching as one. Okay. And on the econ data side, yesterday was big. It was important, and that was probably part of the reason why the market was so consolidated. Right, the market was consolidated yesterday. It didn't really do anything of importance until around. Actually at all, right? It just was a slow grind up yesterday, back into yesterday's range, back into the previous day range. So nothing crazy yesterday. But today's session, we also have some big data. We have jobless claims about 12 minutes ago, and factory orders at 10 o'clock. So be aware of that going into our session. Data at 10 o'clock. And that was important yesterday. The ISM data was really important yesterday. That, in my opinion, was what held up the market yesterday's session, the 10 o'clock data. So be careful of that today. 10 o'clock data is a very important thing, okay? So let's move on, okay? Let's go to our SPY chart, SPY chart. So what happened yesterday? So yesterday's session was basically us just grinding higher in the previous day range. So Tuesday's session, we saw supply rejections at the highs, and we saw demand low at the lows, right? Basically supply, demand, right? And we produced a range here. We had that range for a while, and we knew this was our boxed up range here. Supply rejections, demand bounces. Now going into our Wednesday session, the market just maintained demand, right? We moved from our level 1 to our level 2. And in the morning, we looked quite weak, right? The morning session, the pre-market session looked very weak in the pre-market. But all we did yesterday was just build up higher office demand, office demand, office demand until we broke above 684 and saw a little bit of upside, but not much continuation further than that. Now, let's go to our larger time frames here for a second. The larger time frames for a second say this. Well, here's the thing. The larger time frame is still very bullish, and we knew this was bullish for a while. If you're trading individual names on the short side, it is still bullish, okay? And the reason why it's still bullish is as long as we're holding this yellow level right here, the market's technically maintaining higher lows. And so my bull bear pivot going into my session in front of us is, are we above 679.5? If we are above 679.5, I'm looking for longs as we continue to grind higher, right? That's just what it is. The bull pivot is there. So keep that in mind. 679.5 is your bull bear pivot. If we can hold that level, we're going up higher, okay? And where are we going to? At this point, back into 686. Now, that's your larger term thesis. Here's the issue. The issue right now is we do have supply between 684 and 686. And while technically we're seeing a break above 684, which should give us the move into 686, this break right now is happening, right? This bullish break above the highs, which is a bullish break. Let's not misconstrue this. This is a bullish break right now. This is all happening while the QQQ is in supply, right? And so seeing this right now tells me what? It tells me that even though the SPY is confirming bullish, the Qs are not confirming bullish. And so we don't really know what's going to happen until one of these charts tell us what's going to happen. And basically that's a very elaborate way of saying we don't know shit, right? But SPY is going to present good opportunities today. And what I would look for today's session is I would look for this. If we can break above 684, see us maintain this on the 5-minute chart, right? Some wicks here at 935, at 940, at 945, and you see us start to build a base here above the 684s, then yes, this is absolutely an upside move. But what I would be watching today more than anything, though, this is my top watch today's session, is if we somehow got underneath 684. Because what's that going to do today? A break back down under 684, a little bit of a hold above it for a second for maybe a few 5-minute candles, and then a breakdown underneath this level is going to trap up a lot of buyers above the highs. And we can see that free-flowing downside move back down into yesterday's range, right? So I would look for this today. This would be my top watch today on the SPY, would be do we break down underneath the 684? And I'm going to tell you guys this honestly. Here, I'm going to say this honestly because this is the most frustrating thing I see, okay? We said yesterday, where was your dead zone yesterday? Your dead zone yesterday was between here and here, right? So this was your area that you did not want to get caught up in. And notice I asked, how did you guys all do this the yesterday's session on the SPY, right? If you're trading SPY or whatever you're trading, right? And if you said, well, Brett had a really bad day. Well, did you trade in the graveyard zone? Well, you probably did, right? I actually shouldn't say that. I don't know if you did or didn't. But this was your zone here, right? And there were opportunities at the lows and there were opportunities at the highs. But opportunities in the middle, it's very difficult, right? It's very difficult, even for myself. I actually wanted to trade SPY as well in between the range, but you have to stop yourself sometimes, right? If you start to see the market trading in the graveyard zone, the area you know you should not be existing, and you're taking trades in that zone, that's where you lose money, right? And so that was the thing that happened yesterday. On today's session, what I'm trying to tell you guys is you can trade the highs and the lows, but anything in between you don't want to do. So today's session, if I see us fail above the high or below the highs and fail back underneath, I'm looking for a short side trade and a move down lower, right? That would be a top watch today's session here on the SPY chart. Is a 684 failure. That would be a bear side play today. Right now we're bullish, but underneath this level is a bear side move. Okay, so and then look at that, like Rick Poe. Look, so you caught the upside move. If you caught the upside move, this was your upside move trade here, right? That was your upside move trade here. So keep that in mind. Trade the levels. It's the most important thing. Okay, on the on the ES chart rather. I know it's not so important because the Q's chart is super important today, but the ES chart this morning, it's all about this yellow level right here. If we're above this level, we're bullish. If we're below this level, we're bearish. And if we can get beneath this level today, under 68.50, under 68.60 here on the ES chart, that's where you get a free-flowing downside move. So everything that happens today's session is gauged by this level. Are we above it or are we below it? And as of this morning, we are above it. Therefore, if we get back below it, we can get a trap buyer scenario and a downside move. Now, I'm not saying let's all be bearish at market open today because obviously it's not the right move yet. But I am saying if we do see this flip under the highs, under this yellow level, then you can have a bearish sentiment and you can look down, you can look for the bear side plays here on the SPY chart and the ES chart and look for the move back down into these lows over here. But again, what you don't want to do today though, this is very important, is if the market does give you a bear side flip, if the market does trap the buyers above the highs here in this little pre-market break, and the market does sell off today like this, you see a downside move, you don't want to be shorting back into these demand lows today, right? Because you've seen it time and time again. The market, when it pulls back to that 679.5, it tends to maintain it. So be careful of 679.50 today. Again, I know it's far away from us right now. It's 68.20 here in the ES chart. 68.18 really in the ES chart. So be aware of that going into our Thursday session. But as of right now, if we're above this level, you don't want to be shorting back into this because we could just grind up higher and see a slow grinding move back in the 6,900 ES level, which is your next level of resistance. Your next leg of resistance here is right here at 6,900 ES, which again will be your equivalent of the SPY 686 chart. So if you see us hold here, we're going there. If you see us fail here, we're going there. Okay, that's all it is today's session going into our beautiful Thursday morning. Okay. Let's go into our alarm bell stock, right? So right now, what's ringing the alarm bells for me this morning is the QQQ chart. And so Qs are in supply. While you have the ES chart breaking above our supply zone, you have the QQQ failing it. Okay. And as long as QQQ is underneath this 624 level of supply or this resistance level, right? I think we should all be aware of the fact that the market still hasn't broken out entirely. So while you're seeing some small breaks on SPY to the upside, Qs have not broken yet. And so this should be your biggest thing today's session. If you see Qs get back above 624, you can look for longs in SPY. You can look for longs across the market. But until we actually break 624 in the Qs, I would be I would actually be looking for the trapped up buyers on SPY. And again, the reason why is because you can see here, look at the 1 hour chart here. We are in a very big area of resistance. You can see the gap fill level, right? The gap fill level is right there. You see supply, you see supply, you see big supply, and you can tell, right? Look at the 5-minute chart yesterday. Look at the 5-minute chart yesterday. As soon as we plugged back into that 624 area of our resistance, you can see the big wave of sellers that came in both in the pre-market session and in the into the close of yesterday. So big resistance here at 624. Let's be aware of that going into our session ahead of us. 624, big level. Demand below 619.50, 620, which is your obviously your big demand zone. If we get back above 624, if we see us break this level today, right, then where are we going to? We're going higher back into 626. Okay, so again, big level right here. Your big bullish or bearish level is right there. And so technically in the pre-market session, we have SPY as a bull chart, but Qs as a bear chart. That's why I'm saying today's session is incredibly important because you can structure trades around this. You can get the trapped up buyers on an SPY chart for the downside move if this chart begins to fail. Or you can completely flip that, right? And if SPY starts grinding higher and Qs break 624, then you're going to long the 624 here in Qs, right? Because that would be a big break back to the upside here to 626. So we have both, we have upside opportunities and downside opportunities, but we have to be aware of what's happening contextually because right now it's all based upon whether or not we are above 624 or below it, okay? That's what it is today's session. Nvidia. So let's talk about Nvidia. What have we done on Nvidia? What was going on in Nvidia? Well, first of all, on our what was it, Tuesday session, we longed Nvidia over here, right? So we longed it over here. There was some long opportunities there, back in highs. We longed over here, back in highs, and we actually had a really good day on Tuesday. So Tuesday was a beautiful session on Nvidia. It was just cash flow across the board, okay? And then on our Wednesday session, we said, let's short NVIDIA under 180. If you guys came into our pre-market webinar yesterday, we said, watch NVIDIA shorts under 180. Now, here's the thing. NVIDIA actually was a bear side chart yesterday. So NVIDIA absolutely was a bear side chart. But here's the problem. The problem was, even though NVIDIA was bearish, SPY was not bearish. And so that was where I went wrong yesterday, was getting maybe a little bit too aggressive on bear side trades while the overall market was holding a key level of support, right? That's just simply what it was. We were not wrong about NVIDIA. Obviously, you're seeing, look at NVIDIA's chart. NVIDIA actually was weak even this morning. While SPY is pushing highs this morning, we have NVIDIA still in the gutter. So NVIDIA's thesis is still very much alive for the short side trades. In fact, NVIDIA and AMD are both heavy charts to look for downside today. And NVIDIA, I am watching for shorts today again. And I will continue to do this as long as the chart is remaining bearish. And here's the best part about this is we could trade using the same levels as yesterday, right? If we break beneath 180, we're looking for shorts back lower. So yesterday's session, where did I go short? I shorted right over here. So again, this is why I was kind of explaining a little bit about this, but I shorted right here yesterday's session into that wick high, right? And got a downside move back in the lows. And then I shorted again right over here, right? And then we got news that came out and I stopped out right over there, right? And so that was my day yesterday in NVIDIA. It was a small win and a small loss. And that's what I'm saying. If you guys are losing big on a bear side chart that still stayed low yesterday, you have to go into your journal. And I'm saying this honestly right now to you guys. You guys are not here. You guys are not here this pre-market to hear about yesterday's trading plan, right? That's not what you guys are here about. Obviously the future, right? But it's important that if we're going to do this, if you want to be a trader long term, you have to study what you're doing after every trading session. This should not be a session where people are losing a lot of money on. It should not be a session. Why? Because look at what the chart's doing. The chart is, again, yet at the same lows this morning. And I can promise you this, if you lost big time on NVIDIA yesterday, you're probably going to be hesitant to take the trade today. And today probably is the day it does go, and you're going to miss the opportunity, right? So again, I shouldn't be talking too much about this because you guys are not here for that, but it's important that you guys study how you are executing on the intraday, especially on trades like this. Studying your winners is very easy. Studying your losers or not so big winners, that's where things become frustrating. So again, study type of charts. But right now on Nvidia, where's our trade today? It's under 180. If we can break 180, we're looking for downside back into yesterday's lows, 179.20, and under 179.20, we're looking for lows back into 173. So again, let's keep watching this chart. It is still a bear side chart, but it's contingent on SPY selling. If SPY doesn't sell, Nvidia's not going to sell either. Okay, so let's keep this on the back burner. AMD. Let's move on. AMD. So where's the AMD chart? AMD basically is, oh, by the way, Express. Thank you very much, Express. That is very kind of you. Thank you for always supporting Express. You are a gentleman, man. That is very much appreciated. Thank you, Express Trades, for the $10. That is very kind of you. Thank you very much. And also thank you, Aaron, as well, for joining in. All right. So let's move on. My voice is really bad today. I feel like I'm going so slow. So I don't know how we have 1,200 people here in the pre-market this morning. But I do appreciate every single one of you guys, because it's no one's complaining, which is I was worried people were going to be complaining. All right, so what am I watching today here in AMD? AMD is forming lower highs. Okay, and so I think the chip sector in general had this this feeling of going higher, right, on Tuesday, right, and then into Wednesday session it really faded it, and you saw a lower high form here on the AMD chart. And this, for me, is bearish on AMD. As long as we're under 220, we're bearish here in AMD. So what I'm watching for today on this chart, now that I have this information, is I'm looking for the 220 pop and fade, or I'm looking for the breakdown underneath yesterday's lows, which would be a breakdown under 212. That's all it is today here in AMD, right? So either this or this. Only bear side trades. Only bear side trades as long as we're under 220. That's where my pivot is defined. So if we are above 220, I'm back bullish again. But as of right now, under 220, I'm looking for downside back into lows. So 220 is my bull bear pivot. Again, I will shift my bias if we break above this level. Why would I say that? Because right now the chart is still forming lower highs. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. If we break above this lower high, then obviously we're back bullish again. But as of right now, as long as we're under this lower high, continuing to form lower highs, right, which would now be here at 220, I'm bearish. Okay, so a very simple chart. And again, it all ties back to Nvidia, right? Nvidia is doing the same thing, right? It's the same thing. It's just, again, forming lower highs. SMH, not forming lower highs. Okay, SMH has been strong recently, and the reason why is because you have a disconnect between our names, right? Names like Avgo, right? Names like Avgo are actually technically holding key levels here. It's holding 370. Names like TSM, right? Names like TSM still kind of holding up here, right? And so that's why you're seeing that the SMH chart is actually the semiconductor sector is maintaining itself above highs, and so are above lows. And so what I'll be watching for today in semis is, do we hold 360? If we're below it, bearish. If we're above it, bullish. That's your key pivot going into our session here on SMH chart. Okay. Let's move on. Apple. So Apple chart. What did we do? Did we trade Apple? I think we traded Apple on. We traded Amazon. It was Amazon we traded. So Amazon chart. Amazon chart on our Monday session we did really well on. Right. So Monday session, somebody came in the YouTube live stream. 5 minutes in the YouTube live stream said, I can't get any wins in Honey Drip. Where were you the past 3 days? Like that's the most crazy thing is like you had one bad session, or you probably had one bad session on Nvidia yesterday. I don't know who you're following, but Amazon was nice on our Monday session. It was nice on Tuesday. Now today's session, what are we watching on Thursday? Thursday session here on Amazon. What's the watch here? Well, as long as we're above 230, we're bullish. So for me, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm still holding my equity swing. You guys know I'm in the equity swing in the chat. I also talked about it here in the pre-market. But as long as we are above 230, I'm bullish here on Amazon. Okay. Now, I don't like the short term here. I don't really have any short term trades here. But as long as we're above 230, I'm still maintaining myself in my equity swing. Okay. So this is your. And by the way, Perry, you're absolutely right about that. That's I think it's probably what it is. Unfortunately, it's what it is. And here's the thing. Like nobody will tell you this, but I'll tell you this honestly, because I could do it. I could do it freely here. The success rate for traders is probably 5%. It's probably 5%. In Honey Drip, I'll tell you this, it's probably 20%, right? It's probably 20%. It probably is 20%. It is a low ass number. But I'll tell you this, it is still at least 3 or 4 times higher than it is outside the chat. And there are other good chats too. There are some other good chats out there. We're not the only chat that is good. But you need to understand this. Trading is really hard, but it is the best thing you can do. If you can learn how to do this, you can do anything, right? You can do anything you want. You finish your day in an hour, finish your day in 2 hours. You can make more money than any other job out there. It is an incredibly beautiful profession, and it allows you to do things outside of trading that we love, right? For example, spend time with your family, investing in real estate, right? It is the most incredible, beautiful thing, but it is difficult. And if you come into a honey drip expecting to make 100% every day, you're gonna be shit out of luck. I can tell you that, right? Because I'm telling you this honestly. I've seen it, right? It's probably, even in the chat, it's probably 15 to 20% success rate, maybe even less than that, right? But again, that's still substantially higher than it is outside the chat. We're not the only chat out there. There are other good chats out there, but we are one of them that is pretty good. So guys, keep that in mind. Try not to be so hard on yourselves. Just understand that the market, if you study your trades, you study your losers, you study your winners, you will have a good time. It will be a much better experience, but you got to do your due diligence. You have to study what you're trading. And here at Amazon right now, what am I saying here? Amazon above 230 is bullish. In the short term, I don't have any opportunities here. I want to see this happen. If this is really an uptrend we're forming here in Amazon, we have to form a higher low here, right? And if we do, I'm looking for continuation upside here, not in the short term, not new entries, but only in the equity swing that I'm still maintaining, okay? So my stop loss on my trade here is 230. I'll let you guys know if we get stopped out, okay? But again, we entered over here at 224, so I stop out over here. I'm still stopping out in the green, okay? So I hope you guys got themselves off on that Tuesday session, right? That was our Tuesday session push. Now I'm going to be using this yellow level as my stop loss here as my new trail stop. Okay, so that is Amazon, right? Yes, David. There are many people I know, at least 10 to 15 traders in Honey Drip who are 7-figure traders, right? There are a lot of great traders in Honey Drip. We are really successful with what we do, but even so, it's not going to be, you're not going to go from 0 to 100 in a month, right? It's going to take time. This is a very difficult craft. It will definitely accelerate your training, right? It's going to accelerate your learning. But if you come into Honey Drip expecting to flip your account real quick, make the 1,000 and 10K in a week, right? You're going to have a hard time, okay? That's just simply what it is. Bianca White, thank you. That is very kind of you, Bianca White. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for doing that as well. That's much appreciated. That's going right to the giveaway in December, right to the Christmas giveaway. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so meta chart. What the hell is going on here? What the hell is going on here? Oh, we have not had a candle like this in a while. Oh, okay. We gotta stop all that nonsense. What are we talking about? We're talking about all this nonsense. Look at this chart. Okay, we got some exciting. Oh, Rav is going crazy right now. I know Rav is going crazy right now. What's going on here in Meta? What is going on here in Meta? So some news here. My phone's blowing up. I'm sure if I open my phone, I'll get the notification. All right, here it is. Meta CEO Zuckerberg reportedly plans up to 30% cuts for metaverse efforts. So the metaverse is being cut. Okay, the metaverse is being cut. Also, Amazon news as well. Amazon news and Meta news coming out at the same time. What's going on with their Amazon chart? Is Amazon reacting? No, nothing on Amazon. But Meta, absolutely crazy. Some cuts in the metaverse. Where is it going to? Well, we are holding above a very key level, guys. It may not seem important right now, but this is where we're going to, I think. I think we're going into 700, right? I think that's where we're going into. Why? Because at this point, as long as we're above these set of lows over here that we produced the past few days, we should be going the higher into the next big level. And if you look at this chart here, you're going to notice there is not much price action in between 642, 643, and 695. So there is a strong thesis that we go into these highs here, right? Or these lows rather, right? The strong thesis is that we go into 695 lows. Don't be long to 695. But that's where we're going to. It looks like that's where we're going to. Again, we'll see what happens here in the trading session. But that's where it looks like we're going to at this point. Where's the pullback long spot today? If you're looking for like, hey Brett, where's your long spot today here on Meta? Well, when you have a straight upside move like this with demand all the way here at 650, obviously I'm going to say 650, right? I'll say that's your level to go for pullback longs, but it's too far away at this point. So I would initiate a fib here. I would go for a fib trade. So this is your fib move here. And I would say watch the 660s today. If you see us pull back to 660 is your first pullback long spot, right? So that's for a fib level, 38.2. That's a 38.2. I would watch 660. I would watch 650. Those are two levels I look for pullback longs today here on the meta chart. Okay, that's all I'm seeing here on this chart in front of us. All right. All right. What am I missing, guys? What am I missing? Tesla. So who traded Tesla yesterday in the sandstorm? I know you guys did it. I know some of you guys put your goggles on. I know some of you guys did this. There were some of you guys that did this on Tuesday. So I'm sure some of you guys put your goggles on Wednesday. And some people, the thing is here, the problem is there's a lot of people from yesterday's session, people who are new to this live stream have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. Because I say all these dumb things like sandstorm and goggles. I don't think anyone knows what I'm talking about. I know you guys do. But the new people, we're never going to get new people watching these live streams because nobody knows what we're saying over here. They come into our live stream and they're like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? But Tesla, obviously, right? Very bullish, and it's bullish, but it's in the sandstorm right now. You have so many levels to watch out for. Okay. And if we begin sort of like nitpicking the levels here, you can see that the big level in front of us is, I'm going to say probably 451, right? 450. You can see right there. That's a level to watch out for. Big level right there. And your next level in front of this is back in the highs here, 468 and change. So at this point, I think obviously it's in an area where it's clearly bullish. And we kind of talked about that idea yesterday. But the problem is it's hard to get entries here when you have so many levels in front of you. So don't be upset if you miss this trade because it's really hard to navigate in areas like this. But at this point right now, I think your top watch should be this. Either a pullback long to our demand zone, which would be 436 now. I would use 436 as my level. I would adjust my level here, make a little adjustment to 436. The reason why is I'm adjusting for that the high of Tuesday. So 436 is your pullback long spot, guys. And where you want to look for the break and hold is above 450. So either break and hold above 450 or look for the pullback long here at 436. That's my two spots today I'm watching for on my Tesla chart. 436 bounce or 450 break and hold. If we clear 450, we're going back into our 467 chart, right? 467 high, okay? That's what it is here on this Tesla chart. I'm losing it, okay? But those are your levels here on Tesla. Let's move on, guys. Let's go over a few more names. What am I missing today? We're missing the Apple chart, yeah. So Apple is a watch for me today. It is actually one of my main watches. Apple has few levels I'm watching. Okay, for the first level I'm watching is 283, which is the highs of Monday session. But my main level is actually 280, the 279. The reason why is because we have a beautiful consolidation highs here, highs and highs, a little bull flag move here. If we can pull back to these highs over here, the previous set of highs, right? Highs and highs and highs, right? I'm looking for an opportunity here at the lows. So let's watch that today. Apple 280 to 279 bounce. That's the only big thing I'm watching today's session. I'm watching for longs here today on this chart. Pull back this zone. I'm looking for longs. If I see us develop a hold spot today, Apple is my top watch. Someone said, Brett, what's your top watch? Arias, this would be my top watch today. Apple is my top watch. So let's look to see if we pull back the zone. If we do, that's a pullback long spot. I also would watch something else here, guys. The other thing I was going to say here is I have 283 as a level, but that's not my big level. My big level is back at that 15-minute time frame. 285. Can you guys see this? Hopefully my big head's not blocking. Let me fix this, make my head smaller. 285 is a very important level here. You can see it's the highs produced right over here, the previous all-time highs. We're technically below previous all-time highs right now. So here's the thing. If we can get back above 285, I'm looking for upside on this chart. So 285 reclaims, or look for the 280 to 279 demand bounce today's session. That's my top watch. Okay, so demand bounce here, or the 285 reclaim for long side moves. That's all I'm looking for today's session here on Apple's chart. Someone said Qs are breaking highs. Yes, I would imagine so, right? With Meta breaking out like this, excuse me, then Qs are probably going crazy. They are, right? And this is so everything I just said about Qs being bearish, it's kind of invalidated at this right now, right? As long as Qs are above 624, we're bullish. So let's understand that. And now look at SPY. I bet you SPY now. SPY has that free flow now. SPY has that free flow. So again, we're probably going into 6,900, 686 here SPY, which is your next big level. Resistance. So keep that in mind. But we look strong here on the SPY chart. And it's mostly because the meta is ripping. Okay. Now what's Nvidia doing? Nvidia is not ripping, right? Nvidia is still not a bull chart yet. It's not a bull chart until it's back above 185. If we can do this, I'll long it, right? That's what we did on remember we longed this chart. We longed it on Tuesday, right? But no longer would I long this chart today. Guys, it is really late. It's 9:10. We're way over time, guys. Thank you all for joining in. I'll see you all for live trading. Have a happy and safe trading session. Bye, guys.